What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. Let's get to it. All right, so the NBA playoffs is getting serious. We're in the conference finals, and the Boston Celtics are on the clock. They're who I want to talk about and focus on, most importantly, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the dynamic duo in Boston that have been doing their thing for several years now. Rewind the clock back, they were in the finals versus Golden State just 2 finals ago. Had a real opportunity. People were believing that they could go into the finals and beat Golden State. There were definitely a good amount of people that were picking them. Steph Curry played out of his mind. The team played well as a whole. Steve Kerr did some great coaching. But most importantly, Jayson Tatum didn't quite play up to standards that series. Not to say he hadn't been playing well leading up to that series, but it wasn't a Jayson Tatum as we're used to seeing him when he's at his best type of performance, and it may have cost him. The team as a whole didn't play well enough, and it came down to experience, but also just looked like the moment was a little bit much for them. Now, with that being said, I will say Jaylen Brown seemed to show up a little bit, but he's had his moments too where he hasn't quite been there in key moments. But this year is very, very important. Jaylen Brown, who didn't make any of the 3 All-NBA teams, which I think is not good. And I don't mean not good like not good on his part. I think Jaylen Brown did what he needed to do. But he should have been at least 3rd team All-NBA, no question. Yeah, that means you got to bump somebody. Well, we got to bump somebody. Jaylen Brown played like a top 15 player, especially when we're saying that it's not even based on positions. So he's got a chip on his shoulder right now, understandably so. Jayson Tatum, he didn't get a top 3 vote for league MVP. Even though he's the best player on his team, he plays both ends of the floor, and his team was, without question, the best team all season, and he was putting up MVP caliber numbers. But people want to hold against him not showing up in the finals. People want to hold against him the fact that his team has a lot of good players on it. They've constructed a championship level roster when you got Holiday on the team, Derek White stepping up, Kristaps Porzingis, the veteran leadership of Al Horford. All of this makes Boston an elite team. But nevertheless, Jayson Tatum still should have been a top 3 candidate in my opinion. So he should have a chip on his shoulders. That being said, what's up with the Celtics playing down the competition? They have the capability to be unquestioned the best team in the league, possibly beat everybody 4-1. And even with them getting some luck, if you will, which a little bit of luck it takes to win a championship, but a lot of skill and preparation. But they sure have been getting a little bit of luck with certain players on their opponents' teams in this playoff run not quite being healthy. And even still, as they play the Pacers, they're up 3-0, but it looked a little close, like, the Pacers should have got game 1. They almost got game 3 without their best player, their engine, in Tyrese Halliburton. Now, granted, good teams win close games, so we got to give the Celtics that credit too. But whoever comes out the West, assuming the Celtics are going to win the East, they cannot afford to not put their foot on the gas immediately in the finals. Because let me tell you, if it's Minnesota they have to play, who looks like their back's against the wall right now, they built their team for the Denver Nuggets and got the W against the Denver Nuggets, that being the Minnesota Timberwolves. And because of the way they built their team for the Nuggets, they have a lot of size that could pose problems for the Celtics. They play defense well, so they can slow the game down, make it an ugly game, and they should command the boards. This could be a tough matchup for the Celtics if they don't have it going on the perimeter defense, if they not getting out on the break, moving the ball well, and most importantly, hitting their shots, because they're going to have to skip that ball around, get Minnesota off balance, and attack. And at times, it's just going to be Tatum and Brown, y'all need to put your head down, break your man down, and get a bucket. But it could be tough. I do think they're built to play against the Dallas Mavericks, even though Luka and Kyrie are big-time bucket getters. But when you got Derek White and Holiday that you can take turns having them guard Kyrie, you're not going to stop Kyrie, but maybe you can make him work. Make him tired so he's not quite as effective late in games. Get him frustrated maybe from time to time. Maybe not every game, but even if it's 1 or 2 games, it could mean the series. You got Tatum and Brown with more length that you can have them take turns on Luka. They got the perimeter defenders to do damage and I think frustrate Dallas and beat Dallas. So I think that's the better matchup, but regardless, make no mistake about it. Whether Porzingis comes back or not, if Tatum and Brown don't get this done, they will hear it from the media, from me, and it will be warranted because they have a good enough team and they have the chemistry, having been together for a while. And they had a year last year with the new coach after Ime Udoka left, where they're running out of excuses, quite frankly. They got to get this done. They got the home court throughout the playoffs. It's championship or bust. And quite honestly, I'm rooting for them. I hope Jayson Tatum is finals MVP and him and Brown are stellar in the finals, should they get there. Let me know what y'all think. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. Look for me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.